morning, everyone. So today, second Sunday of the month, we are back to the study of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Elmo is on deserved vacations this week uh, in Texas, doing some fishing. So we'll take over for the study of the Gospel. Last month, we finished the Lord's Prayer. We are in the last chapter. When we are studying different types of prayer and how to use or even to learn how to pray. So today we start on Spiritist meetings, and Wayne is going to read for us. So can you see that?
I'm fine.
There? Yeah, okay.
Okay. Spiritist meetings. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I will be in their midst. 5. Introduction. To be gathered in Jesus' name does not mean that it is enough to be gathered physically, but to be gathered spiritually through a communion of intentions and thoughts for the good. Then Jesus is found in the midst of the assembly, either he himself or pure spirits who represent him. Spiritism enables us to understand in which way spirits can be among us. They are among us with their fluidic or spiritual body, and with an appearance that we would recognize if they were to make themselves visible. The higher their position in the hierarchy, the greater their power of radiation. It is in this way that they possess the gift of ubiquity and can be at several places at the same time. All they need for this is the emission of their thought. Through these words, Jesus wanted to show the effect of unity and fraternity. It is not the larger or smaller number per se that attracts him, since instead 2 or 3 persons, he could have said 10 or 20. Rather, it is the sentiment of charity animating each one with respect to the others. Therefore, to accomplish this, just 2 are enough. However, if these 2 persons each pray on their own accord, then even if they address Jesus, there is no communion of thought between them, especially if they are not motivated by a sentiment of mutual benevolence. By the same token, if they regard each other with prejudice, hatred, envy, or jealousy, the fluidic currents of their thoughts repel rather than unite them in a common impulse of sympathy. Then they are not gathered in Jesus' name. Jesus is only a pretext for the gathering and not the true motive. This does not imply that Jesus is deaf to the voice of one person alone. If he did not say, "I will come to anyone who calls me," it is because he demands above all else love for one's neighbor, which may be better displayed in a group than in isolation, and because any individualistic sentiment repels it. Hence, it follows that if in a large gathering only 2 or 3 persons are united in heart through the sentiment of true charity, while the others isolate themselves and concentrate on selfish or worldly ideas, Jesus will be with the former and not the latter. It is not, therefore, the simultaneity of the words, hymns, or outward acts that comprise the gathering in Jesus' name, but the communion of thoughts and conformance with the spirit of charity personified in Jesus. Such should be the character of serious Spiritist meetings, those in which the concourse of good spirits is desired.
Thanks. So this is a very important discussion on prayer. The title is Spiritist Meetings, but of course, because we're studying Spiritism, but it applies to all meetings to pray or to elevate thoughts. Jesus said, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I'll be in their midst." for us to understand what he meant, the spirits, Kardec and the spirits tells us that whenever we reunite with a sincere desire to improve ourselves morally, which is what these meetings in the name of Jesus are supposed to do, he will be present. Now, it's important for us to understand that the assistance of superior spirits, more evolved spirits, is always available. What is not available is the people who do not open themselves through sincere thoughts. And again, prayer here is sincere thoughts coming from the heart, that of course when we are in a group we'll say in words, but in reality is our vibrations that are elevated, that allows us to connect with the superior spirit. And again, when we say Jesus will be with us, we have to understand first the concept here that the gift of ubiquity and can be at several places at the same time. That's the higher spirits, what they possess. That at the time of Kardec may have been hard to understand, right? But nowadays, when we have radio, TV, and all these means of communicating, we can understand the ability of someone to be present in several places at the same time. Of course, TV is an analogy, it's not how it works with the higher order spirits, because they will be present through their thought in more than one place at the same time. That's why, you have several spiritist centers that would receive messages from the same mentor on the same day. It's the emission of their thought that makes them present there. And we even have some cases of incarnated spirits that can detach themselves from the physical body, be present somewhere else, and then come back. There was a famous case of birth of a child in Brazil that I don't remember exactly if it was Euripides Barçanufo or Dr. Bezerra de Menezes that was able to go in spirit and perform the birth of the child. And when the husband arrived back from being going after this person and arrived there, and the person, when he arrived to search for this person, I think was Euripides Barçanufo, he said, I already been there and came back, don't worry. And he was there in spirit, materializing itself. But that's not exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about the presence of more elevated spirits on our prayers. So one thing is important, it's not the larger or smaller number of that attracts Jesus or superior spirit. It's the sentiment of charity. And again, it's important for us to understand that what happens if I pray by myself? They will be there, they will be present, because it's not the number of people, it's the intention. Of course, why did Jesus say 2 or 3? Because that would unite people, and the more we are, the more the stronger we are in terms of these vibrations that unite us and elevate us. And again, the sentiment and the intent is what matters. So in one of the books of André Luiz, which is, I think, was the previous one that we read, Liberation, when he talks about going to the church, right, the Catholic Church, they arrived at the church, and the spiritual mentor tells him that if you want to go to the church and have a better spiritual experience, go to the very early mass, the 7 a.m. mass, because those that will be there are really there to pray. Those that attend church for social conventions normally attend at 11 a.m. or noon or in the afternoon, right? So the ones that go very early normally are the ones that are there to pray, to sincerely pray, so the vibrations and the protections of the spirits the energy of the mass at that time will be better. We can talk about the gospel at home that Spiritism recommends us to do, right, once a week. And normally, when people ask me how to do, I tell them, even if you are alone, do it in talking. Don't do in thought, do in talk, because when you talk out loud, you can assist the spirits that are brought to our homes for the gospel at home. Superior spirits do not need our voices; they can read our thoughts. But whenever we are doing a sincere prayer at home or anywhere, the spirits will bring the superior spirits will bring spirits in need to listen to what we have to say and to share with us the reading of that day. So if we do it in thought, we are doing just for ourselves. Superior spirits don't need to hear don't need our gospel at home, but they will be there to help us. They'll be there to assist us. It's important. I was talking to someone this week I was discussing the gospel at home. She wanted to help her daughter, and I told her, listen, you do the prayer, the gospel at home, out loud, because you help your daughter, you help others. When you pray every day for yourself and for your daughter, you can pray in silence because you are thinking about her. You are not trying to help and assist a group of people. Laura, you have a question?
Hi, Jerome. I think you just answered it, because doing the gospel at home, I have been told that you do it out loud, but I'm the only one doing it. So
Yeah.
would I continue to do it out loud or be silent?
Yes.
Continue to do it out loud, right?
You do it out loud. The gospel at home, the once weekly gospel at home, you do it out loud, because then you are able to help the spirits, to bring other struggling spirits to listen to you, to share, to benefit from your prayers, right? So instead, when you do it in thought, you are doing just for yourself.
Okay, that's what I thought, and that's what I thought I understood. But sorry, I'm just really tired.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
No, yeah. When again, when you do your morning prayers, your prayers at night, when you wake up, when you go to sleep, then it's fine. You do, if you want to do it in silence or in thought. That's because you are asking for, you are asking for protection for yourself. You're asking for strength for yourself. You're doing it for you. But when you do the weekly gospel at home, you should do it out loud for to be able to help and assist needy spirits that can be brought to your home and that cannot read your thoughts. And also, I know we have only Fabio here of Brazilian, so I normally tell people here, if you live in the US, you try to do it in English, because more spirits can understand you and more spirits can be brought. Because if you do it in Portuguese, only those spirits that can understand Portuguese, there are not many. There are some, of course, but not many here, can be brought. So again, the language. Can't superior spirits understand all language through our thoughts? Yeah. Can spirits at our level understand our languages? No. If you are going to listen to a gospel at home in China, you don't speak Chinese, you're not going to understand anything, and you're not going to benefit from it. Why the church changed the mass from Latin to the local languages is when we understood the necessity of everybody understanding what the priest was saying, and the message to reach everybody. Mass in Latin in the Middle Ages. People will go there, wouldn't understand a word, it will be a lot of confusion in the church. I was reading an article that we think that the church was very serious and very organized in the Middle Ages, and actually there was a lot of disturbances, people falling asleep, people drunk, people screaming, and it was not easy to organize it. But anyways, going back to the study here, the importance of 2 or 3, when 2 or 3, and again, 2 or 3 here, the important thing is to be united in sentiments, in thought, with the real desire to help oneself and help others. It doesn't mean that if you are in a group of 10 people, there are 2 people that are not paying any attention and the other 8 are really working to help, that the spirits cannot isolate those 2 people. They do that. André Luiz describes that in the books, in some mediumship meetings, that the ability of the spirits to isolate those that are not integrated to the group. So we shouldn't be worried. But of course, if you have a group of 10 people and you have 2 that are sincerely praying and the other 8 are not there, the help will be much less effective for the group. For those 2 that are sincere and with their thoughts elevated, they will be helped and assisted. But the benefit for the whole will be much less efficient than in a group where you have the other way around, 8 people sincerely praying and 2 just trying to be there and cannot focus, and they are thinking different things. Again, many of us have difficulty in focusing, in concentrating, especially when the meeting becomes a little bit long. But what we have to train ourselves is, every time we see that our mind waves, we try to bring our thoughts back to the meeting, try to elevate our thoughts, accepting our limitations. Again, it's instead of losing time blaming ourselves for our inability to focus, forget about that and try to focus again. Forget about that and try to focus again. That's more important than start feeling guilty that we cannot focus, and then we cannot focus because we're feeling guilty but we cannot focus, and then we lose all the benefits of the meeting. Let's try to be there as much as we can, and if we drift away, try to come back and forget that we moved away. Just bring us back to the meeting and focus on what's happening there, not on what's on our guilty feelings that we cannot concentrate, we cannot focus, because that doesn't help. That just creates more issues for our ability to be connected with the others and in the group. Okay? Any questions, comments here?
I guess the another way of looking at the ubiquity of is multitasking. Or the spirit can multitask, and we're all used to that term.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's a good point. I think, but a more elevated spirit can multitask with all the multitasking efficient. We multitask and get half of the things done and half of the things not done efficiently, because we don't have the ability to cover many areas. They do. So in their ability to multitask, they can reach all places with the same efficiency that we sometimes cannot when we are multitasking, right? So now we have the prayer. I'll ask Wayne to read the prayer, and then we'll, there's not much comment on the prayer. The prayer talks by itself, but let's see the prayer.
6, prayer. At the start of the meeting, we pray to Almighty Lord God to send us good spirits to assist us, to keep away spirits who might induce us to error, and grant us the light necessary to distinguish truth from falsehood. Also, keep away incarnate or discarnate malevolent spirits who might try to sow discord among us and lead us away from charity and lead us away from charity and love toward our neighbor. If any try to come here, do not allow them access to any of our hearts. Good spirits who come to teach us, render us amenable to your counsels. Keep us from any thought of selfishness, pride, envy, or jealousy. Inspire us to be indulgent and benevolent toward our fellow beings, whether present or absent, friendly or hostile. Finally, enable us to recognize your salutary influence through the sentiments that animate us. Give to the mediums whom you entrust to transmit your teachings the holy awareness of the mandate that has been entrusted to them and the seriousness of the act they are about to perform, so that they may employ the necessary fervor and concentration to do so. If in this gathering there are persons who have been attracted by sentiments other than those of the good, open their eyes to the light and forgive them, just as we will forgive them if they have come with malevolent intentions. We especially pray to the spirit of, and then followed by name, our spirit guide to assist us and watch over us.
So this is a prayer for a meeting that is a mediumship meeting, which was the meetings that Kardec had at the time, right? All the study groups, all the meetings he had, not study groups, all the meetings he had were mediumship groups that had communications from the spirits. So basically what he says here, again, at the start of the meeting, you see that the prayer is maybe 3 minutes. Pray to the Lord to send good spirits, to keep away bad spirits, to prevent those that want to disturb, incarnate or discarnate, to come to us. Spirits, let us be able to hear, inspire us to hear you, to be benevolent. And then he talks about the mediums, to allow them to receive the good communications. And then for the people that are in the meeting, we can be surrounded by goodness, by good thoughts. And then if you have a spiritual guide that you know the name, he ends up using the name of the spirit to assist and watch. Again, these are model prayers. We can, if we don't know exactly how to pray, we can use these prayers, whatever suits us on these prayers, and discard what we don't think it's useful at the moment we are praying. We can always come to the end of the gospel according to Spiritism to practice and learn how to pray and what to say. Remember how should we pray and to whom should we pray. So this is not for us to, it's not like a prayer that you come and repeat every word that is said, like we are taught in the church, that we have to repeat, we have to memorize and repeat the words, and we end up doing the prayer without even thinking about the words and without thinking about the meaning. This is for us to learn to say things that mean something to us, and to discard things that do not apply. So we're not going to ask for protection to the mediums when we are doing the gospel at home, right? We don't know our spiritual guide or our guardian angel. You can finish. We specially pray to our guardian angel, our spiritual assistants, to continue protecting and watching over us. Okay, so this is at the start of a meeting. That's what the meetings, the prayer is for. And we, again, we should use it, what helps us. And if we want to do something completely different, again, what comes from our heart, it's more important than what comes from our mind in a prayer. Okay? So, and then at the end of the meeting, there is another prayer here to close the meeting. Wayne.
We give thanks to the good spirits who have wished to come and communicate with us. We pray that they will help us put into practice the teachings they have given and will help each one of us as we leave this place to feel strengthened in the practice of the good and love toward our neighbor. We also desire that their teachings will be useful for suffering, ignorant, or wicked spirits who may have attended this meeting and for whom we implore God's mercy.
You see how very short is the closing prayer? And again, it's not, there's no problem in to extend this prayer and talk and thank, for what we received and ask for protection and do the same thing that, for the protection of people. But what Kardec is saying here is the prayer has to be efficient. We have to say what is needed to say. We don't need to overextend ourselves in our prayers. If we don't have anything, some people say, I don't know how to pray. Well, you see here, 2 phrases, and that's it. We give thanks to the spirits that have come and here communicate with us, but not in a mediumship meeting, that came and assist. We ask them that they'll continue protecting us, guiding us throughout the week, that we leave this place feeling stronger, and that we can use the teachings to put in practice in our daily lives, and that the prayer can be helpful to suffering weak spirits who may have attended this meeting, and that's it. So again, for us to learn how to more efficiently pray, we don't need to say a lot of words if they have no meaning, if we are just adding words just to make it longer. If we are doing a prayer from our heart, a sincere prayer, and we are bringing a lot of good sentiments and thoughts, again, Carol normally does our final prayer, and she always brings, a lot of good words, good thoughts, and good vibrations. It's a very beautiful closing prayer for our meetings. So again, it's not very long, and it's not short like this one, but it gives us the what we need to close the meeting and have the strength to carry on. So that's what we need to learn from it. Sometimes people say, I don't want to pray because I don't know how to pray. If you don't know how to pray and you need to start with this, with something very simple. Go back to this when you are finishing your gospel at home. Go back to this and adapt your words to this very short prayer for the end of the meeting and use it. And from there, you learn to expand, you learn to be more focused on what matters to you and to the group if you are praying by the end of a meeting. Okay? So it's important for us here to learn, because sometimes we have, again, I said before, the sentiment, it comes from the heart, but sometimes it comes from the heart and we have to pray in public with nothing comes out of our mouth. So if we practice with these simple prayers that Kardec brings to us, it's a start, and from there we develop. Okay? Any questions, comments? Okay. So now, he goes.
Actually, I do want to say something, Joe. I'm sorry.
Hi, Fabio.
I just wanted to reiterate that what you're just talking about is, because we just read about the spiritual meetings. I maybe it's just me, but I got a sense that when you're saying about doing the gospel at home, that is also implying that could be transformed into a spiritual meeting at your home if you're doing by yourself, which is something that I don't think it should be
No,
performed by anyone.
no.
I think just there needs to be a little bit more of a distinction between gospel at home versus doing a spiritual meeting at home, which for me is two completely different things. And
No,
maybe I had to get off a little bit of the meeting. Maybe I didn't get that distinction.
Yeah, no, we're talking here in prayers in general for our home and for our Spiritist center, but we are not talking about mediumship at home. No, Spiritism never recommends to practice mediumship at home by yourself, because that's very dangerous. Even mediumship meetings, virtual mediumship meetings are not recommended by Spiritism. What we're talking here is gospel at home, or even study groups. You can have study the gospel at home, or study another with a group of people, and then you have an opening prayer and closing prayer. There's nothing wrong in studying at home, or studying group, or studying it's not absolutely not recommended is mediumship meetings or mediumship activities by yourself at your own home. That's the difference. But these prayers that can apply to either yourself alone, or in a group at home, or in a group in a Spiritist meeting, or in a virtual meeting. Laura.
I don't know if this is what Fabio meant as well, but I have a question, and I'm not sure if I have understood correctly. Before, when you were saying with the gospel at home, that since you're reading out loud, you're also opening up to other needy spirits within the area.
Yes.
Did I understand that right, or
yes?
Is that what possibly? And I mean, I might be misinterpreting this, but I'm not sure if Fabio was referring to that part as well. I don't know. I'm getting a little
Yes.
confused right now.
So when you are doing the gospel at home, what I'm saying here is the spirits, you have your protecting spirits that take care of your home, right? That take care of you, take care of your home, and they will be there participating in your weekly gospel at home. Now, there are spirits that are in need to listen to what you are going to say on that day, to listen to the page you are going to open, and to the words to the teachings you are going to share. So these protecting spirits, this spiritual guide, will bring these spirits in need to our home just for the gospel. There's no risk of them staying behind, or them disturbing your home. No, your home is protected. When you're doing the gospel by home, you are actually increasing the protection you have at your home. So these spirits will be brought, guarded by this guide, the spiritual guides, listen to what you have to say, and then will be taken away after you do the prayer. So that's what I meant when I said we need to do it out loud. So these spirits can be helped. Because
okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah. So
yes, thank you for that.
Yeah. So going back, you're doing your gospel at home. You do it. You are by yourself. So you just read in your mind, and you just pray in your mind. You are just, are you doing it for you? Yes. Can you help your family members? Yes. You are thinking about them. You're sending your vibrations. But you cannot help anyone that will go there, that cannot read your thought and need to hear what you are saying, because they cannot read your thoughts, less evolved spirits. So that's why it's important to do it out loud, so the protecting spirits of our homes can bring the spirits in need that are there around or somewhere else that are in need to hear the words we have to say. So instead of helping only ourselves and our families, we are extending this help and assistance to needy spirits that we don't know who they are, that may have no connection with us or with our homes, but are just in need to hear these kind words that we are saying in our gospel. Okay?
Yes, thank you. That really cleared up a lot for me. I really appreciate that. I didn't realize that before, even though all the books I read and how many times I've read them. I guess that part never made it in. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I don't know if that part is you are going to find in books, that part, but it's something that we normally I talk when we talk about people learning to do the gospel at home. We try to reinforce the idea of doing it out loud and in the language of the place you are, right? So you can help and
It does.
assist more.
It does also help in knowing that, because for me, when I got to do the gospel at home, I also, not just pray for my family, but for the neighborhood as well, to protect our neighborhood, our neighbors in our neighborhood. And it's interesting to know that that could happen for someone in the neighborhood.
Yes, and
That you could be inadvertently helping someone without even knowing it.
Yes, again, charity, love in action, right? And also, that's why it's important to do the same day, same time every week, because the Spirit can use our schedule to prepare for it and bring the spirits in need for it. So again, as they say, it doesn't matter what day, doesn't matter what time. Some people are a lot of people like to do on Sundays because it's the day that many people are not doing much. But it doesn't really matter. You can do Wednesday 3 a.m. if you do every Wednesday at 3 a.m. It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of doing same day, same time, as much as possible. Again, sometimes, you do the gospel every, let's say, every Wednesday, 8 p.m. And then suddenly on a week, you have something, you are going to have something, in advance. You change the day and time consciously, and the spirits are aware that you are changing the date of time and time. But what we cannot do is, we shouldn't do, again, we can do whatever we want, but we shouldn't do is do it whenever we feel like, because then, for whenever we feel like is our individual prayers. Whenever we need, we should be praying and asking for help and assistance. For the gospel at home, should be same time, same day, as much as possible every week. Okay? Okay, so again, we are, Kardec is, remember the meetings there were always mediumship meetings. So now he's going to talk about prayers for mediums that, we have some mediums here that can help also. Go ahead, Wayne.
In the last days, said the Lord, I will pour out my Spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy. Your young shall have visions, and your elderly dreams. In those days I will pour out my Spirit upon my servants, and they shall prophesy. 9. Introduction. The Lord willed for the light to shine for all people, and for it to enter everywhere through the voice of the spirits, so that everyone may receive proof of immortality. It is with this purpose that the spirits are manifesting today at every point on the earth. And mediumship, revealed among persons of all ages and every condition, among men and women, and among children and the elderly, is one of the signs that the times prophesies about being fulfilled. In order to know the things of the visible world and to discover the secrets of mature nature, God has given human beings bodily sight, the senses, and special instruments. With the telescope, they can plunge their eyes into the depths of space. and with the microscope, they can discover the world of the infinitely small. In order to penetrate the unseen world, God has given them mediumship. Mediums are the interpreters in charge of transmitting the Spirit's teachings to humans, or rather, they are the material instruments through which the spirits express themselves in order to become intelligible to humankind. Their mission is holy because its aim is to open up the horizons of life eternal. The spirits have come to instruct humans about their future destiny and to lead them along the pathway of the good, but not to spare them the physical effort they must exert in this world for their advancement, nor to favor their ambition or cupidity. This is what mediums must understand very clearly, so that they do not make bad mistakes of their faculties. Those who grasp the seriousness of the mandate with which they have been vested will fulfill it religiously. Their conscience would reprove them for a sacrilegious act if for themselves and for others they were to transform into a form of entertainment or distraction a faculty given with such a serious purpose and which puts them into communication with beings beyond the grave. As interpreters of the Spirit's teachings, mediums must perform an important role in the moral transformation that is taking place. The services they can render are due to the good direction they give their faculty, because those who are on the wrong road are more harmful than useful to Spiritism's cause. Through the bad impressions they produce, they have hampered more than one conversion. Thus, they will be asked to give an account of the use they have made of a faculty that was given to them for the purpose of doing good to their neighbor. Mediums who want to retain the assistance of good spirits must work for their own advancement. Those who want to see their faculty grow and develop must themselves grow morally and abstain from anything that might divert them from their providential objective. If good spirits sometimes make use of imperfect instruments, it is to give good counsel and to endeavor to lead them to the good. However, if they encounter hardened hearts, and if their warnings go unheeded, they withdraw, and then the field is left wide open to evil spirits. Experience has shown that among those who are not able to profit from the counsels they receive from good spirits, communications that have for some time displayed brilliance degenerate little by little and end up by falling into error, verbosity, and foolishness, an incontestable sign that good spirits have taken their leave. To obtain the assistance of good spirits and to avert frivolous and deceitful ones should be the objective of constant effort by all serious mediums. Otherwise, mediums is a barren faculty that may even revert to the harm of the one who possesses it, because it may degenerate into a dangerous obsession. Rather than flattering themselves for a faculty that does not belong to them, since it may be taken from them, mediums who understand their duty attribute to God the good things they obtain. If their communications merit praise, they do not flatter themselves because of it, for they know that such communications are independent of their personal merit, and they render thanks to God for having allowed good spirits to manifest through them. If these communications give rise to criticism, they are not offended by it, because they are not the work of their own spirit. They tell themselves that they have not been good instruments and that they have not possessed all the qualities needed to oppose the interference of evil spirits. Consequently, they seek to acquire such qualities, and through prayer, they ask for the strength they lack.
Okay, so here it's basically a description of mediums, right? starting with the acts that the Lord says, "I'll pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy," which is we can interpret as mediumship, right? Your young shall have visions, and your elderly dreams. Kardec talks here about that in our physical existence, God has given us the senses, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, our physical senses. Now, and we can use those senses and amplify them. It talks about the telescope and the microscope, we both of which have just been discovered at the time of Kardec, especially the microscope. The telescope is a little bit older. And with the microscope, they discovered the microbes and the diseases, all the advancement that science got from that. And then he says, what are mediums? They are in charge of bringing to us the spiritual world through the voices of the spirit, discarnate. Their mission is holy, meaning they have to take it very seriously. Otherwise, it'll be very difficult for them. All right. Again, at the time of Kardec, we had communications from the spirits trying mainly to instruct us. Even the communications from the less evolved spirits, from the suffering spirits, were recorded in a way for us to learn of their experience in the spiritual world. There was not yet at the time of Kardec, the use of mediumship as we use nowadays in most spiritist centers, which is rescue and assistance, meaning suffering spirits will come to receive rescue, to receive guidance, to understand about their situation, to comfort them. Of course, we continue to receive instructions from the spirits, of course, mainly, by psychography, through the mediums that continue to publish books and continue to give us this literature, and also through the messages through psychophony that the more evolved spirits, our spiritual guides, give to us after and during some meetings. But most of our meetings nowadays are for rescue, and at the time of Kardec, it was for instructions, because Kardec was trying to gather information from the spiritual world. So he needed as much information as he could gather, both good and bad, so he could study, compare, and then publish what was relevant. And that's how the codification came to be, right? Remember, the Gospel according to Spiritism was published in 1864. We are in this year 2024. It's 160 years of the year the Gospel was published. So at that time, still, we were dealing with mediumship as a way of giving us instructions and giving us enlightenment. Kardec talks about the risk here for the mediums, right? That they need to work on their own improvement, advancement, because mediumship, it's a neutral faculty. The use we're going to make of it depends on us or the mediums, right? So if they are going to open themselves to any type of mediumship without any control, you're running the risk of having a lot of problems in your life because of the disturbance that they can give. Now, if you focus, you learn, you educate your mediumship. Again, mediumship is not something you can eliminate. You either have it, an ostensive mediumship, or you have it, like most of us, an not an ostensive mediumship. You have the ability to hear spirits through your instincts, to get inspired by them, but you don't have an ostensive mediumship. That's the majority of us. But the mediums that have ostensive mediumship in different degrees, they are going to have to live with it. So if they have it, they need to learn to educate it, to learn to use it when it's needed, and not to allow the spirits to interfere with their lives. And also, if they were using their mediumship to their own profit, of course, they're going to attract less evolved spirits. Superior spirits will only be present to a medium that is using its mediumship for profit if the person who's there to receive the reading, the counsel, whatever, deserves to receive the assistance of a more evolved spirit. Otherwise, they'll leave it to the inferior spirits to make use of those mediums, and it can end up very very complicated for the medium. And again, like everything we do in our lives, our conscience is what going to be the judge of ourselves. So if we are mediums and we are using our mediumship for inferior purposes, eventually our conscience is going to catch up with us. And because mediums have an open door to the spirit world, they are going to be more affected earlier than those that do not have ostensive mediumship and are making mistakes, that eventually the conscience will catch up, or they are going to face themselves with difficult situations when they're back in the spiritual world. So again, use mediumship to help oneself grow and to help those around them profit from it. And also for us that are part of receiving messages from the spirits through mediums, if we are not using it for our own good, we are going also to face the consequences of it eventually. So it's an explanation and addressing specifically to the mediums that Kardec talked here, to not to feel very flattered or proud of themselves if they are receiving communications from superior spirits, and not to get down on themselves if they are not receiving good communications, or they are receiving communications that have not been very useful. Because in the end, if the medium is a good intermediary, the cleaner the vessel, the better the communication will come through. And then the interpretation of the communication can be done by more than the medium itself, can be done by a group, and can be done by those more people that may have the more ability to interpret and understand the communication. Okay. Laura, anything here that you want to add? I know you have the experience with it in your life, so. Okay, Fabio, anything here? No.
Nothing. No, not really. I just liked the passage where he says that mediums are interpreters of spirits' teachings, and I always took that very strong to heart, because for me it's a good way of seeing what kind of communication is worthy or not, and especially on the Monday meetings that I used to participate, all those communications were I always saw them as lessons in various degrees to various types of spirits. But yeah, I think it's the importance I like how we emphasize the importance of not feeling proud or of having this faculty, because it can be used for so many other means. And just going back a little bit to where you started the meeting today, I see the gospel at home as something that is done for oneself, and the spiritual meetings are always performed thinking about helping others. I think that's the only distinction that I would like to make, bring it up here. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Fabio. Okay, so let's see the prayer that Kardec had for us for the mediums.
10. Prayer. Almighty God, permit good spirits to assist me in the communication that I am asking for. Keep me from the presumption of thinking that I am safe from evil spirits, from the pride that may deceive me regarding the worth of what I obtain, and all sentiment contrary to charity with respect to other mediums. If I am induced to error, inspire someone with the thought to warn me, and inspire me with the humility to accept and acknowledge criticism, and to take for myself, not for others, the counsels that good spirits wish to dictate to me. If I have been tempted to abuse in any way whatsoever the faculty that it pleased you to have granted me, or to flatter myself for it, I ask that you take it away, rather than allow it to be diverted from its providential purpose, which is the good of all and my own moral advancement.
Okay. That's the prayer. Hi, Ebony. I apologize. I forgot to tell you that time changed here in the US, so we started. It's noon now. I should have told you last Sunday, and I forgot. You know, people here in the US, they are aware that time has changed, and I was during the meeting, I thought, and then suddenly came to me. I said, "Oh, she probably doesn't know that time changed here in the US."
I'm sorry. I forgot to check.
So, but anyway, it's being recorded. You can go back and catch it and listen to it when I post on our YouTube page. But so we're discussing prayers here. So this prayer for mediums, right? It's an interesting one when Kardec talks about, the mediums asking for the medium to be protected, to receive good communication. Then I was remembering Divaldo talking about mediumship when he started receiving messages from Joanna de Angelis, his spiritual mentor. And after receiving many books, one day at a certain point he was very down, depressed for some reasons, things that were happening in their life, and then he asked Joanna, why you keep giving the messages to everybody and you never send anything specifically for me? And then Joanna told him, listen, every message I give is for you. Go back and read all the messages that you have received from me and see if there is any message that is not for you. So one thing that for us to remind ourselves, mediums especially, every message that you receive, psychographic or from superior spirits, Laura and receives most of the Mondays messages from the superior spirits, and she goes back. I know she goes back and listens to them, and because she doesn't remember when she's giving the message, it's a reminder for the mediums. Every message, first and foremost, is for them. For the rest of the public, yes, also, because messages are important for all of us. But the medium has to understand that if the message comes with advices, with challenges, the medium has to take it very seriously, because first, above all, is for themselves, the messages they are receiving. Okay. Questions, comments here? Okay, so we talked a lot about prayers for others, now prayers for oneself.
To one's guardian angels and protector spirits. 11, the introduction. We all have a good spirit who has been connected to us ever since we were born, and who has kept us under its watch care. With us, it performs the mission of a father with his child, that of leading us on a pathway of the good and of progress through life's trials. It is happy when we respond to its solicitude. It suffers when it sees us succumb. Its name matters little because it might have a name not known on the earth. Thus, we evoke it as our guardian angel, our good spirit. We may even evoke it by using the name of any higher order spirit with whom we feel particularly attuned to. Besides our guardian angel, who is always a high order spirit, we have our protector spirits, who, though less evolved, are nonetheless good and benevolent. They may be relatives, friends, or sometimes individuals whom we have not known at all in our current lifetime. They assist us with their counsels and frequently by their intervention in the actions of our life. Sympathetic spirits are those who are connected with us by a certain similarity of tastes and tendencies. They may be either good or evil according to the nature of the inclinations that attract them to us. Tempter spirits make efforts to lead us away from the pathway of the good by suggesting evil thoughts to us. They take advantage of all our weaknesses as if they were open doors, giving them access to our soul. There are those who hound us as if we were prey, but they withdraw once they realize their powerlessness in fighting against our will. God has given us a principal and superior guide in our guardian angel and secondary guides in our protector and familiar spirits. However, it is wrong to believe that we unavoidably have an evil spirit who has been placed next to us to counterbalance good influences. Evil spirits come intentionally according to how much access they have to our weaknesses or our negligence in following the inspirations of good spirits. Therefore, we ourselves are the ones who attract them. The truth of the matter is that no one is ever denied the assistance of good spirits, and that it depends on us to repel the evil ones. Because of their imperfections, human beings are the primary cause of the miseries they must bear, and are the most frequently their own evil spirit. The prayer to guardian angels and protector spirits should have the aim of soliciting their intervention before God, asking them for the strength to resist evil suggestions and their assistance with the needs of life.
Okay, so we are surrounded by spirits. We know that. Who are these spirits? We studied that in the Spirits book, but here Kardec brings us again the concept of the spirits surrounding us in our incarnated lives. First, above all, we have what we can call our guardian angel, or we can call our protecting spirit. This spirit, each one of us have one guardian angel who is a spirit that is more evolved than us, who's responsible for our incarnation and for assisting us throughout our incarnation. Most of the time stays with us throughout our incarnation, unless something very special happens that he or she needs to leave there, to change and bring someone else to take care of us. But we will always have a protecting spirit or a guardian angel that is responsible for us. it has to be more evolved than us. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, right? You cannot have someone that is at your level or less evolved than you protecting you. You have to have someone that knows more than you. So all of us have one. It is always at our disposal when we need them. It doesn't mean that they are 24/7 just taking care of us because they don't have anything else to do. They have their lives in the spiritual world, and they take care of their own business. They are always connected to us, and they are always present when we need them. And again, it depends on us to open ourselves to receive their inspiration, their guidance, their assistance. It comes through our thoughts. It comes through our instincts. It comes through our daily lives, actions on our daily lives when we need assistance. They are always there. They're always ready to help us, but they are not, they are not focused only on us and nothing else. Can they have more than one protected spirit? Can the guardian angel, my guardian angel, be the guardian angel of someone else? Depending on their level of evolution, yes, they can have more than one. But again, our guardian angel doesn't necessarily need to be a lot more evolved than us, right? Because the idea here is for all of us to learn and to educate. So why would I have Jesus as my guardian angel if between Jesus and myself there are millions of levels of evolved spirits, and other spirits have the opportunity to learn through guiding someone else, right? When you are, let's think about teachers here on earth, right? A teacher for first grade has to have some abilities that a teacher, college teacher, has to have different abilities, different knowledge, more specific knowledge. A teacher on the first grade has more of a general knowledge of the basics. So we are going to have a guardian angel, which is a spirit a little more evolved than us, not necessarily a lot, but more evolved for sure, that knows more than us, and it's looking from the other side, is able to help us. And again, if we enter into a situation where we need help of a more elevated spirit, our guardian angel will bring whoever we need to help and assist us. So this is very important to understand the concept. Some people think that a guardian angel has to be St. Francis of Assisi or Jesus or St. Paul. No, we just need someone that is a little more evolved than us, that is capable of helping and assisting us, because it's also a learning experience for them, right? When you are educating a child here on earth, you have a son or a daughter, you are learning as you go by. You make mistakes, you are learning from your mistakes. Of course, the guardian angels are less prone to making those mistakes because they will receive assistance, but they are also learning. They are also developing their own spiritual evolvement by helping us. So that's the guardian angel. Now we have our familial spirits, those that love us, that not necessarily are more evolved than us. They may be even less evolved than us, but they love us. Let's say the grandmother we had that went back to the spiritual world, that we had that great relationship, that we loved our, the grandmother, and she loved us, and she goes back to the spiritual world, and she's, their connection is so strong that if she is in a condition of helping us, she'll be around us. She may not know much more than we do, but she'll be there trying to protect us, trying to make us, to inspire us to avoid making mistakes that can cause us damage. These are familial spirits, or how they call the benevolent spirits, protector spirits, not the guardian angel, right? These are spirits, and it can be from a previous incarnation, right? Let's say our our mother from the incarnation before this one, that we have a very strong connection that continues to assist and guide us from the spiritual world, can be one of these familiar spirits, if she's still there in the spiritual world, or she's there in the spiritual world at this time, can be one of the spirits helping us. Can be friends, that very close friend that you had in your previous incarnation, that you came back to this incarnation and that friend stayed in the spiritual world, but it's there trying to help and assist you. These are the familial spirits, the individuals that we may not know at this time, or a very good friend from this life that went back to the spiritual world before us and is trying to help and assist us. We also have spirits that are connected with us because of a certain similarity of tastes and tendencies. Let's say, for those that missed Vicente Pessoa lecture yesterday on Camille Flammarion, I highly recommend it. It's very interesting. Camille Flammarion was an astronomer at the time of Kardec. He's the medium that received messages from Galileo in Genesis. And Vicente Pessoa is a specialist on Camille Flammarion. He loves him, studies him, and dedicates a lot of his time to learn more about him. So let's say Vicente Pessoa, with all his interest in astronomy, a spirit that doesn't know him at all, but is very interested in astronomy, it can be there to help and assist him. He's looking for something. He needs to find out what is the latest research on a certain specific subject, and this spirit can guide him to find the information faster. So, it's a spirit associated with him by a similarity of taste, not but because of any personal connection. So we will have, anytime we're trying to do good for others, for ourselves and for others, we will have spirits associated with us because they share the same interest. They may not be any personal relationship, but they will be connected to us to help us. Now, moving to the other side, when we see the image of the little angel on one side, the little devil on the other side. The little devils on the other side, the less evolved spirits. What type of spirits are there? These are spirits that can be connected to us because of our inferior tendencies. So let's say someone that likes to drink, you will associate itself to spirits that used to drink here when incarnated, miss the feeling of drinking, so they will associate with someone that is drinking. So, when someone says, I can drink a whole bottle of whiskey and not get drunk, yes, you are drinking for yourself and 3-4 other spirits that are connected with you. So you are spreading the taste of alcohol, and that's why you're not having the full effects of it. Also, of course, there are enemies from the past, spirits that want to cause us harm because they are angry at us for things that we did in the past. And also, there are spirits that are friends from the past that were friends in the not so good actions that we used to take in the past, that don't want us to progress. They want us to remain where we are so they can continue sharing with us their energies and their thoughts. So they will try to prevent us from evolving, because by us evolving, they will have to reflect on their own path, and they will sometimes start feeling guilty, start feeling the need to evolve. So, and if we are not making any effort, you know how people that say, "Oh yes, I did that," but everybody's doing it, right? So we find comfort that the other people are making wrong choices. we are making wrong choices, but other people are making wrong choices. So we are not so much to blame. These are the type of spirits that may associate with us, the less evolved spirits. So, but on the weak side, on the evil spirit side, or the inferior spirit side, we are the ones opening ourselves to them. We are the ones that we will attract them to us. Again, if we can prevent them to connect with us, if we are able to keep our thoughts, our vibrations elevated, if we are working hardly on moral and intellectual progress. Again, at our level of evolution as inferior spirits is very hard. Most of us will have less evolved spirits connected to us. And, by maybe we can help them progress by them looking at our effort to progress, right? Again, going back to Divaldo Franco, for those that watched the movie of his life, and you know that he had this spirit that was an obsessor persecuting him throughout the times and trying to cause him harm, trying to make him commit suicide. And the spirit eventually told him that he was going to stop persecuting him, not because of the words he was saying, but because he felt what he was doing was really making the spirit reflect and want to change. And eventually, Divaldo received the spirit's mother as one of the many child he received in mention of the way the more than 3,000 child they rescued and received and assisted in their institution. And when he saw Divaldo receiving his own mother as a needy spirit that was struggling as a new child, it was when this spirit completed the transformation and left Divaldo in peace again. So even a spirit, evolved spirit like Divaldo Franco, that is doing, 97 years of dedication to others and to the cause, still has these persecutions from the past, because we all have been not so good in the past, and we carry those spirits connected to us from the past. But again, depends on us, on our effort to elevate our thought and vibrations for most of our daily lives, to be able to mostly avoid the influence of these less evolved spirits in our lives, and to attract the influence of good spirits in our lives. Okay? Questions, comments here? Okay, so this is an example of a prayer we can use to help us access these spirits that are trying to help us.
12, prayer. Wise and benevolent spirits, messengers of God, whose mission is to assist people and lead them on the pathway of the good, uphold me during the trials of this life. Give me strength to bear them without complaint. Keep from me evil thoughts, and help me not to give access to any of the evil spirits who may try to induce me to evil. Enlighten my conscience regarding my faults, and lift from my eyes the veil of pride that prevents me from perceiving them and acknowledging them to myself. You especially, my guardian angel, who watches most particularly over me, and all your protector spirits who have taken an interest in me, enable me to become worthy of your benevolence. You know my needs. May they be fulfilled according to God's will.
Read the next one also.
13, another prayer. Dear God, allow the good spirits to assist me, to come to my aid when I am in trouble, and to uphold me if I waver. O Lord, enable them to inspire me with faith, hope, and charity. May they be for me a support, a hope, and a proof of your mercy. Finally, Enable me to find in them the strength I lack in life's trials, and in order to resist evil suggestions, the faith that saves and the love that consoles. Another prayer. Beloved spirits, guardian angels, you whom God in his infinite mercy allows to watch over humankind, be my protectors in the trials of my earthly life. Give me strength, courage, and resignation. Inspire me with everything good and restrain my tendency toward evil. May your gentle influence enter my soul. Enable me to sense nearby a devoted friend who sees my suffering and shares my joys. And you, my good angel, do not forsake me. I have need of all your watch care in order to bear with faith and love the trials that God wills to send me.
One thing here on the first prayer, right, when talks about saying the name of the guardian angel. Most of us don't know the name of our guardian angels. We may even choose a name if we like it. We can choose, some people believe, especially those that come from Catholic Church, they have their protecting saints. They have the saints they believe that help them, protect them. We can use whatever name we want. Our guardian angel is not going to be offended if we don't know their name and if we are using a different name, because names in the end are just references, and we are not what our present name. We have it at this incarnation, and we had different names in previous incarnations. We'll have different names in future incarnations. The eternal spirit doesn't have one name. Again, but we know, of course, for instance, Emmanuel, the Chico Xavier mentor. We know his several incarnations with different names. He chose Emmanuel because Emmanuel was a name that felt more good in his heart. Joanna de Angelis, Divaldo's mentor. Why did he choose Joanna de Angelis? Because we know her previous incarnations as a soror in Brazil, Joana Angélica, as the protector of Mexico, what was her name? Juan Inés de la Cruz, right? We know her previous incarnation as Clara from St. Francis of Assisi. His company, Claire, right, was Joana de Angelis. And even for those who have watched or know the Gospels, the Chosen, Joana de Cusa, right? So always, a lot of times, Joana. So that's why she chooses Joana de Angelis as Divaldo's mentor. But it's a name, and the name doesn't really matter. And if we don't know the name and we pray up for our guardian angel, that's good. If we don't know the name and wants to choose a name, wants to call him or her whatever we want to call, that's fine. We can use it. Now, you see that the thought here is the prayer here is to keep me from evil thoughts and protect me from evil spirits. Give me connection to the protecting spirits that want to help me. Again, a prayer is a way for us to elevate our hearts. Do we need to pray? If our life is a prayer, we don't need to pray. But our lives are not prayers. We live our lives with all the struggles of our daily lives and distracted by everything that happens to it. So when we stop for a prayer, is an opportunity for us to focus on elevating our thoughts and vibrations and connecting to more elevated spirits, to opening ourselves to receive their help, their assistance, their influence. The more evolved we become as eternal spirits, the less necessity we will have for a specific moment for prayers. But at our stage of evolution, we still need to think and stop to pray, right? We still need to educate ourselves for prayer to become part of our lives, and we are far from it. So that's why we still need to learn how to pray. We still need to choose times of the day to pray, and time for the week for the gospel at home and everything else. Okay, so that's different types of prayer that we can use for ourselves. Again, repeating what I said, if we don't feel comfortable with how to pray, we come to the gospel, we read our prayers, these prayers, we study these prayers, and we adapt them to our needs and to our way of speaking and addressing ourselves to the spirits, using these prayers as a model, not word by word. We don't need that. Words, if we repeat words without putting our feelings on them, they mean nothing. They are not going to elevate our vibrations. It's the sentiment behind the words. But if we need words, we can choose the words, and we can learn from the words that we see here in the gospel. We'll continue with that next month. The next one will be to keep evil spirits away. Okay? Any final comments, questions here? Okay, so next Sunday, it's the third Sunday of the month, we are going to study the Medium's book. Okay, Elmo will be back for it. And for those that missed yesterday's lecture by the United States Spiritist Federation, I highly recommend that you watch it. It's very interesting, talking about Camille Flammarion, astronomer and friend of Kardec, and worked with Kardec, by Dr. Vicente Pessoa, who is a medical doctor in Brazil and infectologist, specialist in infectology. Carol, can you do our final prayer after talking so much about prayer?
Thank you very much, John, for hosting. And thank you, Wayne, for reading for us today. And thank you, everyone, for being here and participating. Infinite Creator and Divine Providence, we give thanks to be together again as brothers and sisters for our studies of the Gospel according to Spiritism, our chapter being chapter 28 regarding prayers. May our prayers be sincere, heartfelt, and united with focus and good intentions. As we open and pray in unity, may we invite the Master Jesus, the spiritual benefactors, the good spirits, the guardian protectors, to bring us inspiration, hope, clarity, healing, and guidance. Prayers during our mediumship meetings are essential for all of our participants. We sincerely ask to receive helpful communication for our suffering spirits through the mediums and through the counselors' guidance. Prayers out loud during the gospel at home provide protection and guidance for the entire household. Prayers for oneself can be assisted by a guardian angel, protector spirits, and the good spirits. This helps us to maintain an uplifted vibration with hope and help to help us and assist us. We give thanks to the spiritual benefactors and the good spirits for guiding and inspiring us today. May we receive the love, light, and peace of Christ within us for our loved ones, our teachers, our directors, the counselors, the mediums, the workers, the healers, and all participants. We pray for inner peace, and especially now for world peace, and for those who are suffering in the physical and spiritual worlds. We pray for our center, SGNY, and all Spiritist centers throughout the world, that they may grow, expand, and be protected by day and by night. As we close today, we close our meeting, we humbly ask for safety and protection as we return to family, friends, loved ones, and coworkers. And may we remind ourselves to go forth as beacons of love, of light, of peace, of service, and of charity, which is love in action. So be it.